I had somebody in the comments section say that I portray Lieutenant BuzzSellout in a bad light because I cut off the video right when he was about to criticize the roadmap. So I'm going to go over the entire part of this video, and the only reason I cut it off is because to save time, really. And, you know, I figured I was going to have to do this anyways because I would get comments like that. So without further ado, because there's something I want to say. I do these videos because I want the gaming industry to improve. I'm tired of looking at a corporate cesspool when I used to see works of Michelangelo. I'm a fucking unk gamer. I grew up in like the 90s and mid 2000s when the gaming industry was at its peak, when developers focused more on the work than the profits. But the reason why they focused on the work is because the work made the profits. Not now, where developers spend more money in marketing than they do the actual game development. Where you have studios like Arrowhead who aren't even making their own fucking game. Where they have 4 or 5 studios helping them make the game, and then they Frankenstein patch it together, don't test it, just serve us the slop, and then sit there and lie through marketing saying they're a AA studio. They can't do any better. When the reality is, no, they're a AAA studio who can do better, but doesn't. Because it's profitable. So, yeah, it just annoys the hell out of me that people sit there and say, I'm grifting or whatnot. Meanwhile, I make zero money from this. I get zero attention from this. Meanwhile, you have Lieutenant BuzzSellout who has the propaganda program, the revenue from ads, and I guarantee he sells products. So, yeah. Sit there and think what you want, but I'm just trying to make the gaming industry as a whole better because guess what? We, the players, have the power, not the developers. If you don't go and buy that shit game that everybody knows is going to be shit, well, guess what? The developers make no money, so they then sit there and go, I guess we actually have to work on the game and not so much the marketing next time. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get into this video because I wasted enough time mid-ranting. So,
okay, this is me just speaking kind of off the cuff here, but I started getting your DMs yesterday when Arrowhead posted this roadmap, and just like the headline says, your messages were also mixed. I saw things like, hey Buzz, check it out. They gave us a roadmap and told us everything for the next 3 updates.
Okay, right there he's lying off the bat. He's even going to acknowledge later on in the video that this roadmap doesn't say jack shit. But yet he had this comment included. Now, you sit there and think to yourself, why would he add a comment sitting there saying, oh man, I got a message about somebody sitting there saying they're so excited, the roadmap says everything, wow. Other than to generate fake hype. He wants to sit there and make the Glazers feel like, yeah, you totally have a reason to be validated. And it's just going to get worse from here because he's going to continue to hype it up more than he does criticize it. And even when he criticizes it, he like has to sit there and apologize before he does it.
I also saw shorter messages like, WTF, I could have made this in Photoshop in less than 10 minutes. And listen, I read and understood the sentiment and emotions backing both of those DMs. Now, I know this is Arrowhead and Helldivers 2, but many of you know me from back in the day when I covered Tom Clancy's The Division and The Division 2. And just so you can see kind of how these roadmaps can look across different studios, actually how similar they can look, here's...
Okay, keep in mind that the keywords here, how similar they look. So he's basically saying there's being like, yeah, you know, live roadmaps are the same across different studios. They're mostly... They keep the same motif. They don't change up much. Keep that in mind.
One that I saved from The Division 2's Year 5 Season 2 upcoming content. And as you can see here, it has things like apparel event, story DLC, incursion, you know, things like that, vague statements. So when it comes to a studio putting out a roadmap, there's...
Okay, I'm going to scroll back just a bit because, yeah, he's being disingenuous here. He's trying to sit there and say, yeah, look, see this. Here's another roadmap. Another example. They're supposed to be vague. What he fails to mention, though, is that the Division 2 developers, when they would release a roadmap, they typically did a dev blog, or it was during an event where they would explain what to expect in each season. Do you see how he left that out? That's a very crucial detail to leave out. Basically, he's implying that, every developer takes their roadmap and just slaps it up there and then walks away. When that's not the reality. And even with the very same example he uses, Division 2, they would explain what would be in the roadmap. But I digress, though. He's only saying this to basically seem like, Arrowhead just did what every other studio does. They're just doing the basic. When it gets worse, but I digress. Let's keep going.
Statements. So when it comes to a studio putting out a roadmap, there's this format where they try to put out just enough to show you that something is going on at the studio, but they're not going to commit to exact names and dates because that would put them under timelines that, if not met, could lead to further community backlash. Unless you're Hello Games and No Man's Sky, because those guys produce some crazy roadmaps. But
all right, I'm so sick of this because he even acknowledges it himself. Yeah, AAA studios can't keep to their roadmaps, but a AA studio can. That's self-funded. Jesus. Stop making excuses. He literally just went on an entire tirade of making excuse for Arrowhead, sitting there saying, yeah, roadmaps are typically vague. Hello Games is just the outlier. A AA self-funded studio. I fucking can't, man. You see, this right here is basically how he's gaslighting us. He continuously focuses on the issue of vagueness when that's not even the main fucking issue. The main issue, we'll see when we actually show the roadmap, and he doesn't even talk about the main issue. He acknowledges it, but doesn't even talk about it. So let's just keep going.
The point I'm trying to make is that vague roadmaps are kind of par for the course. Anyways, back to the gamer, because they've got some of the community quotes here for all.
Okay, I'm gonna skip the community posts, whatever, because it's just fluff to make his video longer.
All pans out when the updates actually drop. So here is yesterday's Helldivers roadmap along with that Reddit post, and as always, links to all of this can be found down in the video description and pinned comment. Anyways, this shows the major update 6.0, which was our previous update, where we got to go and attack Cyberstan to take on the cyborgs, and of course where we got the Bastion tank and Siege Breaker's Warbond. Update 6.1 is what we're currently in as of yesterday, and from there, update 6.2 and 6.3 introduce, look at those vague terms there, new biomes, a new galactic war campaign, a new Warbond.
Do you see how he acknowledged the issue but didn't talk about it? Major 6.0. Oh, that was the last one. Oh, update 6.1. That's the current one. He acknowledges it, but doesn't talk about it. Instead, he immediately deflects to, look, the new biomes. Yeah.
And quality of life fixes. Now, I'm not throwing shade out there at anyone or the studio, but if you look at the descriptions, new biomes.
And this is the fake criticism, the deflecting criticism, where he's not going to talk about the real issue. Instead, he's going to talk about the vagueness and, this is just the usual.
A new galactic war campaign, new enemies, a new warbond, and bug fixes. Well, isn't that what we normally get when Arrowhead drops a new update? That's basically everything we always get, just spelled out on a content roadmap announcement for all to see. So, yeah, while it's a nice gesture to finally get a roadmap, now 2 years after launch, it's also just a roadmap of the things the studio would deliver. The only thing that really stuck out at all...
This isn't a roadmap. If it's stuff we already know, then it's not a roadmap. But yet he's still calling it a roadmap when it's not a roadmap. In fact, this is the issue. The biggest issue is more than half the roadmap is already done. You see that? Roadmaps are for the future. They're where you're wanting to go. Okay? This roadmap is a fucking road mirror. We have half we can see coming up in the future that we already know. This is literally a current, like where we're at right now. This is what we can see coming up. It's literally, we don't need a map for this. And this was in the past. This is in the rearview mirror. So it's not a roadmap, because a roadmap, again, is going to explain what's going to happen over the course of the year, what's going to happen in the future, not what already happened, what's currently happened, and what we can literally see 5 feet in front of us. And again, it's all vague shit we already know. Wow, we get 2 new biomes. That's cool. I guarantee you they're going to be like mixes of current biomes we already have. New Galactic War campaign. Wow. That's wow. A new enemy variant. I think that's the only new thing we're really getting that's like a surprise. New War Bond. Wow. Quality of life fixes and rebalance. Oh my god, fucking rebalances. That's just nerf. That's just literally whenever. And you know, it's funny, he doesn't even announce. He doesn't even talk about the rebalances. All he says is quality fit life QOL fixes. That's all he acknowledges. Not even rebalances, because he already knows that's just code word for nerf.
At least to me, are the months: March, April, skipping May, and then picking up again in June. And that at least says to me that update 6.2 is going to be a more sizable update with a new enemy variant and 2 new biomes. But yeah, I can see how people had this vision of grandeur of what a Helldivers roadmap would have.
So he criticizes the roadmap by literally just saying, "Oh, it's stuff we already know that Arrowhead always they do normally." But then glazes, "Oh, it's gonna be, we're gonna have a new enemy variant, looks like, and oh man, we're gonna have a month in between April and June. So man, it must be a big update." If it's a big update, that would mean they would need more time cooking it, not after they released it. But knowing Arrowhead, they're going to release it. It's going to be broken as fuck, and then they're going to basically spend a month slapping band-aids. Not fixing it, slapping band-aids on it. And also, let me go ahead and just scroll back a bit, because there is this quote I do want to fucking tear through.
Yeah, I can see how people had this vision of grandeur.
I could see how you all had visions of the basic fucking, like, literally the most basic thing. This is just...
new biomes. But yeah, I can see how people had this vision of grandeur of what a Helldivers roadmap would eventually look.
I'm sorry you guys had visions of the fucking bare minimum. I'm sorry you guys had visions of grandeur that Arrowhead could make fucking toast. A roadmap is literally like making fucking toast. All you do is put down pinpoints of what you want to see in the future. It's not even things that you have to do. Those are just things that you want to do in the future. And yet Arrowhead couldn't even fucking do that. So you're sitting there being condescending to people about visuals, grandeur, and look, to the person in my comment section, why does he have this picture then?
Like, and when they saw this with its really vague descriptions, they were shocked.
Man, yeah, they were just being cry divers. They were just being cry divers because they had visions of grandeur that Arrowhead could do the most basic thing. And this is see, you can't sit there and tell me he's not a fucking sellout when he literally doesn't even criticize the real point of the fucking roadmap, which is more than half of it is already taking place. That is the real issue of it. That Arrowhead couldn't even make a roadmap correctly. It shows that they made this roadmap a while ago, never released it, probably because they didn't know when the fuck they were actually going to have their content made, because they're not the ones making the content. And yet I'm still going to get people in my comment section screaming at me that this guy, Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, is totally for us. He's not a sellout. But look, I'm just going to show you 2 videos. These 2 videos right here. And I want you to see if they have the same energy.
Some of the specifics here, and Nicholas was touching on all sorts of talking points during this convo, ranging from power levels, balancing realism, fantasy, and pretty much everything in between. But as you really start to listen to his responses, you get the sense that either A, The feedback the studio is receiving and the studio is accepting is completely off-center, as in a very loud few in the community seem to have their ears, and the studio is tailoring the game in that direction. Or B, and I don't know how else to say this, but it really boils down to these devs have no flippin' idea what's going on inside of their own game.
All right, you see that energy? Where was that energy in the last video where he's sitting there calling out the devs instead of making excuses for the devs and literally gaslighting the player base? This was when he was still banned. This is when he was unbanned.
Anyways, over to the news I missed reporting on, and we can actually stay here on the Helldivers Companion app for this. And if you take a look at your screens right now, the app actually tracks the ups and downs of the Galactic Impact mod. Now, you've heard me talk about this mod many times in the past, but essentially there is a hidden impact multiplier effect within Helldivers in which the more divers we have logged on, the less impact we do. And the less players we have logged on, the more impact we do. I know, it's frustrating, right? As we'd probably prefer a straight up fight. And that brings us up to this PSA that I missed from Reddit.
Yeah, you know, guys, it's frustrating, but whatever. Moving on. The devs, you know, cheat the system. But, you know, whatever. Moving on.
That says recon planets can be played without affecting liberation rates of other planets. This is fantastic news for MO divers. Which is why I just showed you the Galactic Impact mod, because this longer explanation now lays it all out for you. Quote, for those unaware, liberation rate calculations for the Galactic War have always included a value called the impact modifier, which I just showed you. While the exact formula for the impact modifier is unknown, it essentially reduces the impact of completed missions towards planet liberation the more missions there are being completed galaxy-wide. This limits the ability to liberate a planet by the percentage of players that are on that planet. In the past, this has been frustrating for completing MOs on planets that, for whatever reason, many players don't want to play on. And some divers will always play their favorite faction no matter what the MO, indirectly harming MOs for other factions. Today, recon planets were introduced. Again, I missed reporting on this. It's a couple days old now. As mentioned in-game, missions on recon planets do not count towards liberation of the planet. What was not mentioned is that they also don't seem to factor into the impact modifier calculations either. Otherwise, we wouldn't be liberating Tarek at 2.4% an hour with only 11% of the player base, while half of the player base is on Heath. If this is true, so long as one recon planet is placed in each faction, faction divers can play missions guilt-free without affecting liberation on MOs. Now, personally, I'd like to see this Galactic Impact mod more in line with what we had back closer to when the game launched, where you could put smaller forces on planets all over the map and still make decent progress there, because when we're forced into this,
I guarantee you we're going to get a butt.
Mob mentality and pushed to do an all-out attack on one planet simultaneously, it limits our ability to engage with the game, and inevitably it turns into bots versus bug divers. However, one of this week's biggest drop...
Oh, it wasn't a however, it was a but. It wasn't a but, it was a however, though. He's just moving on to the Festival of Reckoning. Do you see this attitude change? Oh, I wonder, why did he change his attitude? Why did he change this? Where's this energy in the little next video?
And finally, after an extended vacation from the Propaganda Commander content creator program, I can officially announce that I'm back. Yeah.
Ah, that's where the energy went. Okay. So don't sit there and tell me, look, I know there's going to be fans of him that are going to see my videos. You guys can watch him. I don't care. But what I'm going to sit here and say is he's full of shit. He's not for us, especially when he couldn't keep the same fucking energy in two separate videos. Now, look, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I don't care. If I'm wrong, shit. I'll sit there and say I'm wrong. Like, for example, it's not Unreal who made the engine that Helldivers 2 is using. It's actually Autodesk. And when I actually did a little more research on it, yep, I found out it was Autodesk. For some reason, I thought it was Stingray was the engine. But no, it's actual Stingray engine, and the Stingray is owned by... Yeah, I got confused on my end. That's no problem. I can admit when I'm wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and say LtBuzzSellout is in the sellout just so I could get some clicks and likes. That's not how it goes. I don't care about getting clicks or likes. All I care about is changing the industry for the better. Because I want gaming to be how it was. A good fucking product that sold well. Not a hyped up product that sells like shit. Now with that, I'm going to go because I just had to make this video because that one person pissed me off in the comments section. But I digress. I hope y'all enjoy your day.